Hello, gorgeous soul. How are you today? So, it is episode 15 of the podcast today. If and when you are joining me here on Facebook, do say hello. Drop me your favorite emoji in the comments. If it's the first time you are tuning in, please do let me know whereabouts in the world you are tuning in from. If you are catching me on YouTube on the replay, then hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to my channel on YouTube. And if you are listening to this over on any of the podcast platforms that I've got, then make sure you hit the subscribe button on there. If you've got any comments, any questions, anything you want to fire over to me, you can reach me over on the socials on Facebook and on Instagram, or you can email me hello@louiseblood.co.uk. What I will say is if you aren't connected with me on social, so if you're not following me, or you're not friends with me / following me on Facebook, make sure you are and then reach out to me because your messages don't always come through. You can always comment on one of my posts and then I will see that you are there and then I can respond. So let's dive in. So I want to talk about on today's episode, going viral, getting paid, and being a single mum and building a business. So quite a big episode. And I want to keep it as short and as sweet as possible, which is usually impossible for me, but I will do my best. I had a post go viral a couple of days ago, was it yesterday or the day before, here on Facebook. And I wasn't expecting it because it wasn't a business post. And this is the thing about viral content. And I've had a few things go viral before. And then the last few months, nothing has gone viral. When I've run other people's accounts, I've had like posts that have gone viral on their accounts. And here's what I'll say about viral content. It's always the things that you don't expect that will go viral. Always the things that you don't expect. So I had a really lovely moment the other day and I captured the moment in a photograph and I decided to share it just because it meant a lot to me. And in the moment I shared it on my Facebook page. You can see it. It's just a photograph of me and Matt just laid in bed. He'd been away for 10 days. I'd seen him over in Italy. And then when I got back, we were separated for about 4 days. And as an independent woman, normally that amount of time doesn't bother me, or it wouldn't bother me. However, I love it when we actually have a little bit of time apart because it really deepens my gratitude for what we have. Like, I like missing him. And then when we are then reunited and we're back together, it just feels just even better than it did before. And so it was capturing that moment and just sharing it, just as a heartfelt post on my Facebook page. And I woke up the next day or the one after and the post had gone viral. So it had like 120,000 views and I'd had a few strangers comment on there. Some of them were lovely and some of them not so nice. And I know this about going viral. I know this about, reaching people outside of my audience. And, some of the things I just take with a pinch of salt. And I just think to myself, and this is a message for you as well, if you fear visibility, you fear putting yourself out there, you fear your content reaching the wrong people and them having something to say about it, someone's comments on your content reveal everything about them and nothing about you. So other people's comments, good or bad, have absolutely no weight or mean absolutely nothing about who you are. Because ultimately, you know who you are. Like, I know who I am. The identity work that I do for myself, for my clients, it's like the work is knowing who the F you are. I know my values, I know what I'm here to do, I know I'm here to serve, all the things. And so when I create content, I don't worry about what people are going to say and I don't worry about what people are going to think because also if we go into the human design side of things, I'm a 5-1. So my 5 line attracts a lot of judgment. It attracts projections from people, wantedly and unwanted attention. I just do. And I know that about me. So I don't expect it, but I'm prepared for like negative comments. And I don't get angry or annoyed at negative comments because I just think this just shows to me where this person is at in their life. And it's just having not even compassion, just having nothingness towards anything. And that's just how I sort of go about it. But what I will say is Facebook are paying me for the viral post. So my account's set up for monetization, both on Instagram and Facebook. So when a post does go viral, and there are comments, whether they are good or bad comments, I respond to all of them. And I respond either jovial, or I respond in a humour way, or in a kind way, or in a that's interesting perspective way, or I'm never nasty, negative or angry about it, because I think, well, the further this post goes, the more money I make. And so with your content, if you have a fear of visibility, number one, you need to come and work with me, like today, because we need to bust that. We need to bust that fear. You need to lead with that fear for a while, because you are not going to make money in your business if you are using online, like social media, as a tool for your business. You're not going to make money online if you're hiding. You have to be okay with visibility. You have to be okay with like putting yourself out there, creating the content, being bold, being open, sharing your truth, sharing your product, your service, what it is that you're here to sell online if you've got a business. If you've got any issue with your identity and you've got any sort of fears or limiting beliefs about like showing up on the socials, then that's the work that you have to do. Because if you are hiding, if you are playing small, if you are diluting yourself in any way, your message will not land and it will not convert into money. If you're growing a business online, I can tell you now, you will not want to be doing it for free. You will have got into business to make money, to create time for yourself, to create freedom for yourself so that you can spend more time with your family or with your friends or doing things that you love. So you have to get over this visibility fear. I understand why you have a fear of visibility. So many people do. I once did. However, I've worked through it. Here I am. And I would love to help you overcome that fear. Because once you are sure in who you are, once you are clear in your identity, and once you are making moves and taking action and showing up, you will start to make money. And you'll just be like, it's so freeing, it's so liberating to do that. So please, 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 if you are listening to this, you have, fears around visibility or self-confidence or your identity, or you keep procrastinating when it comes to creating content or showing up, you struggle with creating consistent content, message me. Let's have a conversation. I want to help you, because as soon as you get over that, you're going to start making money. Okay. So that was number one. Quite passionate about that. Can you tell? And then number two, what I want to talk about is single mum life and growing a business, because I was a single mum for 11 years. So back in 2014, I left a long-term 13-year relationship, and that was with my kid's dad. We were married. We'd been together since I was like 17. I was 30 at the time. My kids at that age were 8, 6 and 4 when I made the decision to leave that relationship, because the dynamics of that relationship weren't right. There was a lot of disrespect. There was emotional abuse. There was financial abuse. It was a complete mess, and it had been for a long time. I'm not going to go into that, but I left that relationship. It wasn't easy. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. Dealing with the guilt of splitting up the family, dealing with the guilt of the change for the kids. Also, I was very new in a business that I was in back then. I was earning about £300 a month. And so I then had to take on the financial responsibility of me and the kids. I was very fortunate at that. I did have some family support around me at that time. I still have. I'm very fortunate. I've got a very amazing family, which I'm so grateful for. But back then, it was, I need to make my business work. And I've also got, my kids to look after. And also I'm dealing with all the emotional stress and strain of leading a family of 3 children who are very young through this time. And so what I found at that time is I very much emotionally shut down. I didn't have the capacity to feel anything, because as soon as my heart opened, all I felt was intense guilt, intense failure, intense everything, and I couldn't handle it. So I got very busy. I got very busy in my business. I got very busy with life. And it did serve me, because I did grow my business. But there came a time where the emotional side of things had to start to come out. And I had to start to look at, when it came to me making changes in my life, as in me feeling more fulfilled, me experiencing love, like me feeling that life force energy and really feeling connected again to myself, I had to start to unravel. And then in my business, something that I found also is when I went from that business, which was I ran for about 5 years, and then I came into a business on my own, so my coaching business that I now have. What I found, and I'm finding this with a lot of my clients as well, we're having conversations about this at the moment, is that when you are a single mum and you're wearing all the hats, you're responsible for everything. I have found over the last 10 years of being in business and being a single mum that it's very rare to find a business mentor that also understands what it's actually like being a single parent. Now, the way that I created success in my life as a single parent and growing my business was I didn't actually identify with being a struggling single mum. I didn't, because that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be a successful mum, like in life. I wanted to be a successful business owner. And so I very much stepped into and claimed that identity. But what I found is as I started to invest in my business and in business courses, in business coaching, in all different ways, in learning online, learning about marketing, learning all the things in business, it was very much about this hustle culture. And it was all about, we all have 24 hours in a day, coming from people who had no kids. I had 3. But coming from someone saying, you just need to not watch TV, you need to be getting up earlier, you need to be doing a morning routine, you need to schedule your day, you need to be doing all these things. I thought, this is not what I signed up for in business. This is not what I want my business to be like. I don't want my business to be like Mr. Bro Marketing business who's saying make 10K in 10 days. That I've had clients come to work with me who have literally nearly killed themselves just to make 10K, just to say they've made 10K, and they're just like, I don't want to make it again because it's been worse than my job that I left. That isn't why you got into business. You got into business as a single mum to have time freedom. You got into business as a single mum to have financial freedom. You did not get into business as a single mum to be working every hour God sends and to try and if everything around you other than business is inconvenient because you are focusing on hitting a certain target or an amount of money, but everything around you is literally crashing and burning and you are stressed, you're just I can't do this, it feels like too much, the house is a tip, the kids are just a nightmare, I just can't, it just feels like too much. If you are there, that is not how it is meant to be. Leading your life and your business in alignment means that you have to get clear on what it is that you actually want. And then create an aligned action plan, aka an aligned strategy for you to then lead. And this is what I do with my clients. Having kids isn't a burden. It's a challenge. And what I will say is leading a family on your own. I identified as a strong, independent woman for a long time. But what I did do is I literally had tunnel focus and I would not ask for help. I wouldn't ask for support. I just felt that I had something to prove. I was a single mom. I've got this. I can do this. I didn't open up to a lot of people about, if I was finding things hard or finding things difficult. And I found my very first business coach that I invested in, I spent thousands on a business coach when I first stepped into my business, is any struggles that I had behind the scene about me and my identity or about the kids, I never spoke to her about it. I was never asked about it. I've very much been one of these people where if someone doesn't ask me, I don't share. Because I feel if they were interested or if they gave a shit, they would ask. And in that coaching relationship, I understand the importance, especially when you're a single parent, that you literally often have no one to talk to about how you actually feel, about how much you're actually navigating, about how some days it's fucking hard. And I've had recently like women in my world like who've become clients of mine who have said, I have paid like tens of thousands of pounds to be in masterminds and I've not felt safe enough to actually talk about the things that I'm talking to you about right now. Because it's all been like business, 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 business. And yes, business is important. But guess what else is important? You are. Your kids are important. And when things are difficult behind the scenes, who have you got to speak to about that? Who have you got to co-regulate with when you're finding just things tough? Whilever you are avoiding like all the mess around you, you're not going to be showing up powerfully in your business because your life isn't aligned. You're going to feel like a fraud. The work that I do with my clients is we look at all aspects that are important to you. Behind the scenes, like with you, how you feel about yourself, how you lead yourself, how you feel in your relationship with your kids. If it's difficult, we do the work to make sure it gets easier so that you feel happier, so that it's aligned, so that you're leading. And it's not always easy, and that's also okay. This is life. But we take it all into account because then when it comes to business, business is just a set of actions. And if all the things are adding up behind the scenes, as in you are doing the work on yourself, you are like aligned and taking the action in your family life, that feels good. I can tell you that you will show up in your business 100%. Whereas if things behind the scenes are a mess, you will find it much harder to show up in your business. Or when you do, you won't be creating the results that you are actually capable of because you're not leading from alignment. Your energy is off and people sense it, they feel it. So we have to get the foundations right. So I'm in the process now of launching a new experience. And this is a coaching experience for single mums who are also in business. Now, this isn't just for any single mums. I'm only opening 10 spaces. This is for ambitious, creative, heart-led, passionate, hardworking mums, single mums. And I don't mean that you value like work over everything. What that means is you are committed to the process. You are committed to leading yourself. You are committed to your family. You are committed to your business. If you've got that attitude and that mindset and you know you're capable of more, you're looking for guidance, you're looking for an empowered way of parenting, like single parenting, while also building your business, I want to invite you to look at this experience that I'm hosting called the Solo CEO. There's more details on my Facebook and Instagram page. There's not going to be a sales page for this because there's only 10 spaces open. We're going to be starting mid to the end of May. But if you want more information or you want to have a conversation about this experience, if you identify with anything that I've shared today on this podcast, then reach out to me, DM me, email me, whatever. But let's have a conversation and see if this experience is a good fit for you. We're going to be talking about like the challenges that you actually face that are potentially holding you back. You've probably not had a space where you can just be completely honest about where you're at in life, with the kids and with business. I want to be that space where you can be fully honest, lay all your cards on the table, and then we create an aligned action plan moving forward and create what it is that you actually want. Like how you want to feel in yourself and in your life, how you want to feel in that relationship with your kids. Everyone wants a good relationship with their kids. It takes work. It takes intention. It's this that we're going to be talking about in the Solo CEO. And then also looking at your business. Does this align with what you actually want? What are the action steps that you're taking in your business to market your business, to sell in your business? You know, does it feel good? Does it not feel good? We're going to look at all of it. And by the end of the 6 weeks, I want you to feel confident. I want you to feel aligned. I want you to feel grounded, strong, and I want you to feel like you can move forward in your business with clarity, confident. The things that have helped me as a single parent in business haven't been mainstream in any way, shape or form. And every time I have a conversation with my clients who are in my other programs about, you know, when because they naturally just come to me and ask questions about, you know, they're navigating this with their family or their kids or their partner or something, I will answer honestly. I don't hold back. I just share like my truth, my experiences, my stories. and it changes things for them. They learn things that are life changing. And the things that I've learned in the last 10 years as a business owner and a single mum, the things that have helped behind the scenes for me personally, for my family dynamics, family life, and also in business, have not been mainstream. And it's this that I want to share with you inside the Solo CEO experience. So if you want more details, reach out to me. I can send you more information, more details. If you want to have a conversation about this experience, we can have a quick chat about it, see if it's aligned for you. I will not take you on as a client if I don't think it's a good fit. I'll be open and honest with you. You may speak to me and say this isn't the experience for me either, and that's absolutely fine. I'm only here to work with the right people, with aligned clients, because alignment trumps all. So if you want more information, like I said, just reach out to me. But this experience will be starting mid to the end of May. So you've got up until the end of May to sign up for this experience. It'll be running for 6 weeks. And like I said, more information you can find over on Facebook or on Instagram. So I'm now going to jump off. I'm going to go and do a school run. And do some shopping, food shopping, all the things that us mums do. But yeah, like I said, if you haven't yet subscribed to the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. If you're not yet following me on Instagram or Facebook, make sure you go and follow me on those platforms. And if you're over on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I think that's everything that I've got to share on today's podcast. So whatever you're doing, have an amazing rest of your day. And I will see and speak to you for next week's podcast on Tuesday next week. Lots of love.